A's UK live stream for us. A's UK live stream for us. If it's a day game, we'll be live with a pre-game show. Alright, A's UK live stream is best. A's UK live stream is best. So come and join us on YouTube. Use the chat to send your comments through. A's UK live stream for us. A's UK live stream for us. With the lineups and A's news, and maybe with a guest or two. A's UK live stream is best. A's UK live stream is best. The perfect way to take a rest. You should prescribe it on the NHS. A's UK live stream. A's UK live stream. Hello and welcome to the A's UK live stream. I'm Matt, and as you can see, we're here in Vegas. Kind of here in Vegas. I've got the Vegas behind me anyway. Welcome to fabulous, which way? There we go. Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes. Now, if you know the A's, you know why I'm saying that today. But for those of you who aren't aware, the A's AAA affiliate is the Las Vegas Aviators. And today and tomorrow, that's Saturday and Sunday, the A's are playing 2 games against the Cleveland Indians at the Vegas ballpark. So, Game 1 today starts in just under an hour's time at about 9:05 UK time. So about 1:05 Oakland time. And the A's are playing today and tomorrow. The A's are playing split squad, easy to say, on both days. So the A's are also playing in Arizona today. That game's just started, so we're going to preview the game in Vegas because that's on MLB TV or whatever it is, NBC Sports California in Oakland. And we'll also be looking at the other game that's going on and general A's news catch-up. So there we go. We are on both. Hopefully we are on both Twitter and YouTube. It says we are, so I'll take it as read that we are. I may in fact try and get Twitter up on here. I'll try and multitask, which isn't a thing men do very well, as you all know. But let's see. Greatly enjoyed the fact that it was still night at 5 o'clock today here in England. And it will be March tomorrow, which seems a bit scary, quite frankly. But March means we're that bit closer to the real action starting and Major League Baseball coming to us soon. Yeah, we're on live. Good. Okay, so we are actually working. So if you're watching live, either on YouTube or on Periscope, you can send through a comment. In theory, either way, it should show up over there. So if I put a comment in, just do that quickly. Go in the comment here. It will come up. In theory, it should do that for Periscope too, but it rarely works. So I will try to keep an eye on Periscope as well, which is going to get a bit confusing for me. But there we go. I'll do my best. Anyway, so yes, we've got a couple of games today, and we can immediately take a look at the lineup for the game taking place in Arizona, because the way the A's have done it is that they've split the roster quite evenly, so it's not a case of all of the regulars are in Arizona, all of the regulars are in Vegas. There's a nice split to them, so let's have a look at the lineups, which we should be able to do now. So this is the lineup for Cleveland and Oakland in Mesa in Arizona, which has just started 5 minutes ago. So you can see there, Cleveland have got DeShields, Zimmer, Ramirez, Santana, Franmil Reyes, Jordan Luplow, Mike Freeman, Yu Chang, Gavin Collins and Scott Moss, the left-hander, starting in the pitching. For the A's, so interesting bunch here. So Franklin Barreto is leading off and playing second base. One of the group of players in the battle for second base, the spring training. Robbie Grossman, Robbie G, is in left field. Mark Canha is in centre field, batting third. Chris Davis back out on the field, really good news there. back in the batting lineup at least. We don't need him on the field. He gets injured. So he's DH today, batting fourth. Chad Pinder Power, he hit a home run a couple of days ago. He's in right field. Seth Brown is at first base. Sheldon Norsey at third base. Austin Allen, who's looked pretty good in spring training so far. He's catching and batting eighth, sorry. And then Jorge Mateo, the other guy battling for the infield spot, is playing shortstop today. And by all accounts, he can handle the shortstop. He's got the arm for it. He's got the range for it. So, yes, interesting to see what they do. So, that's the lineup. That is playing in Arizona. And fingers crossed, this is a real fingers crossed jobby. But we may be able to see what's going on. Let me, well, if you know what I mean, have a look at MLB.com and the game day. Fingers crossed. Oof, look at that. Here we go. So, all day, runners. So, we're in top of the first. Paul Blackburn is pitching for Oakland. And, yeah, a bit of trouble so far. And by the looks of it, Carlos Santana singles on a line drive. Ramirez flies out. Reached on a fielding error by Franklin Barreto. Ooh, we didn't need that. And Delino DeShields. Okay, so runners on the corners so far in this one. Early on, now Liaise, results-wise, haven't started too well in spring training. They're 2-6, I think, off the top of my head. But we don't really worry about things like that. It's not about win-loss records, not least because once you get into the fifth inning, most of the guys in the team, most of the guys pitching, aren't players who you necessarily know a lot about, never mind the players being in the Major League roster. So, yeah, don't worry about the results. Look at players who are out on the field and looking healthy, which is the main issue this time of year. Now, along those lines, when we looked at the team last Sunday, I think it was, we did our last live stream, there were three regular players who hadn't made the lineup at that point. One was Chris Davis, and as we can see, he's playing today, and I think he made his debut on Tuesday. So he's designated hitter, so he's getting some at-bats in, which is great. Sean Murphy, not in the lineup just yet, but the latest word from Bob Melvin, I think it was yesterday, he announced that Sean Murphy should be in the A's lineup on Tuesday. I don't know whether he's going to be catching straight away, but he should be swinging a bat, so that's great news. He's coming back from minor knee surgery, so there's no current feeling that it's going to be an issue for him being ready for opening day. Just seems to be a case of wanting to make sure he's taking it steady, taking it slowly, and not trying to push too hard too early in spring training when there's no need to do that. Body takes a pounding behind the plate, and yeah, just needs to get himself nice and fit for the start of the regular season. So he should be up and running on Tuesday next week. But one player who hasn't featured and isn't going to feature for a while is our presumed right fielder, Stephen Piscotty. Now, we lost Piscotty for quite a bit for the second half last season. And yeah, this season's not going to start too well either because he's got a rib injury. It had been lingering already, but they did another scan by the looks of it. And yeah, it doesn't seem too serious by all accounts, but he's been shut down. And of course, this time of year, it's not simply that he's injured, therefore he can't play. He's injured, therefore he can't be doing the usual spring training, getting ready for the season. So who knows how long it's going to take him to get back. If it's a rib injury, I know Chris Davis didn't injure his ribs, but it's that sort of side area, like an oblique injury or anything like that, whereby you come back too early at your peril, because if you don't let it properly heal, you start trying to swing the bat, throw the ball, it just never goes away. It keeps coming back and becomes an issue all season long, and we really don't need that with Piscotty. So I'm sure they'll take it slowly. It doesn't look like he's going to be ready for opening day, but hopefully it's not going to linger too long. So if Piscotty's not ready for opening day, then what are we going to do with that roster spot? If you're watching live and you've got any ideas, then do stick them in the comments over there. I've jotted down a few potentials that we can talk through now. So the first thing, of course, is Piscotty would be an outfielder. So do you bring in another outfielder to cover that position? Well, we've got Laureano, Canna, Grossman in effect. Well, he is an outfielder. That's all he can do. Pinder can play outfield, plays outfield very well. Tony Kemp can play outfield too. So you've potentially got 5 guys there who can do it, and then it possibly adds a space for maybe putting both Franklin Barreto and Jorge Mateo on the opening day roster and seeing how they go for a little while. We'll see. The other thing is that they might decide to bring in an outfielder to cover that position. And you've got a few options there. Seth Brown would probably be a good option, both in terms of his lefty bat. Can play outfield, can also play a bit of first base too. So Mark Canha doesn't have to be the backup at first base. So that might work. You've also got potentially, I don't know, Sky Bolt can play there in a pinch. Dustin Fowler, he's kind of the forgotten man in the A's outfield, but he could be an option too. I think he sounds like he's looked okay in spring training. But yeah, really fell back in the pecking order last year, so we'll see what goes on with Fowler. But just having a quick look at the game day screen, Paul Blackburn managed to come through the top of the first unscathed. So there we go, dodged the bullet there for Paul Blackburn. So we'll have to wait and see who's going to fill the roster spot. But yeah, the main news is that it looks pretty certain that Stephen Piscotty is not going to be on the opening day roster, which is a blow. But as always with these things, it opens up an opportunity for somebody else to come in. Now, we had the blow last year of Matt Olson getting injured in the Japan series. That ended up with us signing Kendrys Morales the day before opening day, which didn't really turn out to be very much at all. Maybe we'll look to have someone like that. Perhaps, I don't know. When we've got a roster crunch like we have at the moment, it would seem a waste of a roster spot to bring anyone else in. But we'll see. Franklin Barreto has just walked to lead off the bottom of the first inning, so good patient approach from Franklin Barreto there. The one player we have been linked with, and wouldn't be an outfielder of course, but is Russell Martin. So there is continuing talk over whether the A's will go with their 3 young catchers, or 2 young catchers, 2 of the 3. Sean Murphy, obviously, if he's fit and healthy, will be starting. You've then got Austin Allen, who's looked pretty good in spring training so far, and the same goes for Jonah Heim too. So you could go with those guys, or you could bring in someone like Russell Martin as a veteran presence. I don't know. It will depend on what sort of money he wants and also what sort of playing role he wants. I think it would be a great option from a leadership point of view, but it would be a case of, well, how much catching is he going to do? Because the A's are going to want Sean Murphy behind the plate quite a bit. It may be that the A's will look at it and think, you know what, particularly in the first month or so, because Murphy's been coming back from knee surgery, they may chop and change a bit more than they would usually just to lighten the load on Murphy for a bit. So that would be potentially appealing to someone like Russell Martin, because at least he's going to get a bit more time behind the plate, and yeah, maybe 2-3 months into the season he would get traded on to someone else, but at least he'd have an opportunity to show what he's got this season. So yeah, we'll see. I think it comes down to money as much as anything else. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do add a veteran catcher, because although all the 3 guys look very promising, particularly with Sean Murphy, who's such a key player for us for the A's future, it's not ideal to have him on the roster and have to do all of the heavy lifting in terms of working with the pitch and stuff. You would like a more veteran catcher to be there alongside him. So if we can get someone, I suspect we will try and do a deal. But we'll have to wait and see whether that occurs. Okay, so that's the main kind of news from A's camp. Dalton Jeffries, real scared the other day when he was on the mound. He's been had come back from Tommy John surgery, pitched last season. Looks like it's a bicep injury, and I think they said they're going to have another scan today. We might find out later today or tomorrow what the damage is. Doesn't sound as bad as it might have been, but a bit of a blow for him because he's a really exciting prospect. Did look like somebody who could get up to the big leagues this season, so hopefully it's not too bad and he can build up and be a factor in the second half of the season for the A's, perhaps. Okay, so that's the A's news. Let's now focus in on that game in Vegas, which is going to start in, 45 minutes time or something like that. So the A's and the Cleveland Indians in Vegas, and here we go with the lineups. So that's the one from the other game, as you can see, which is going on just now. Oh, blimey, Robbie Grossman's just hit a home run in this game, in fact. So Franklin Barreto walked. Robbie G, to left field, doing it for the A's massive. There we go. So that's what's happening in Arizona. As for Vegas, here are the lineup. So for Cleveland, Francisco Lindor is in the team. Domingo Santana, who we know quite well, is in there too. Jake Bauers, spelled incorrectly by the A's PR. But yep, that's the Cleveland lineup. As for the A's, which is the side of it that we're really bothered about, Marcus Semien is leading off and playing shortstop as always. Tony Kemp is in there at second base, switch hitter, and yeah, interesting to see how he gets on. Matt Chapman, third base, batting third. Passing fourth is Matt Olson, playing first base. Passing fifth, La Laser, Ramon Laureano, who's in centre field today. It's Jonah Heim, who gets a start behind the plate, batting sixth. Vimal Machine is designated hitter, which is an interesting one. So he's the guy we got in Rule 5 from the Cubs, in effect, via the Phillies. So he's in. Sky Bolt is in right field. Dustin Fowler, who we were talking about a few moments ago, he's in left field today. And yeah, so that's the lineup. So an interesting one. Ramon in the middle of the outfield with Sky Bolt and Dustin Fowler either side. So plenty of legs out there in Vegas. And of course, both of those guys played for the Aviators last season, so they're well used to the outfield there. So there'll be a bit of familiarity for them. And behind the plate, Jonah Heim. And then you look at the infield, well, doesn't get much better, does it? Olsen, Kemp, Semien, Chapman, pretty good to me. And of course, on the mound, we have the baby giraffe, the left-hander, Sean Manaea. And in honour of his spring training start today, I've taken the lead from Dom of A's UK, who likes to sing the Sean Manaea song to the tune of Panic by the Smiths. I've turned it into a little video, and yes, here is the starting picture video for Sean Manaea. He came from the Royals and no, hit the Red Sox. Oh, he's great because he plays for the A's. There's people out there who won't see it, so hang all those doubters, 'cause as A's fans we know he can play. On the mound he's a true smiling fighter, he'll sit you all down with his slider. He's Sean Manaea, 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 Sean Manaea. Now, Manaea didn't have the best of time in his last spring training outing. He was really working on his slider, the slider I mentioned in the video, and just wasn't really getting to grips with it, hung a few, and they got smacked about a bit, which is what happens in Arizona, which is what happens in spring training, so nothing to worry about, but he'll be looking for better outcomes today. We do know from last season that Vegas was a nice ballpark to hit in, lots of home runs being hit. We also know the ball played a factor in that. So it could be a high-scoring game, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, hopefully Mania can put in a good effort, get some good work in, and really start to get his legs under him, really, as much as anything. Had such a difficult year last year coming back from the shoulder injury. Looked so good in his 5 regular season starts before the heartbreak of the wildcard game. But yes, it's all there for him this season. And I'm really confident that Mania's going to pitch well for us this year. So hopefully he can put in a good showing today and start to get his spring training off on a better note. So that's going to be Vegas. And again, just to bring up that lineup one more time. It's Semien leading off, Kemp about second at second base, Chapman, Olsen, Laureano, Jonah Heim behind the plate, Machine as DH, Skybolt in right field, Dustin Fowler in left. So, should be a good game, and as I mentioned, it's on MLB TV for those of us in the UK and outside of the Bay Area blackout restrictions. If you're in the Bay Area, you can watch it on NBC Sports California. There was some interesting news yesterday that Dontrelle Willis, the former Major League pitcher for the Marlins and Tigers, and a Bay Area guy, he's joining the TV crew. So I think he's part of the studio crew rather than a commentator's booth, but great to see the D-Train part of the A's family and should be a good addition to the crew. So looking forward to seeing his comments over the coming season. Really looking forward to this game this evening, I have to say. It's going to be great to see the ballpark because it looks like a fantastic ballpark in Vegas, and you've got Finn the Bat Dog rushing on too, so he'll take all of the kind of, attention away from some people. But yeah, should be good, and it should be a good game to watch. I'll definitely watch the first 3 or 4 innings. It's the same with all spring training games. Don't tend to watch all of it. I've listened to quite a few of the spring games this past week. Donnie Ben's doing a great job on the A's radio via A's Cast or via the MLB At-Bat app. But I tend to listen to sort of 4 or 5 innings and then call it quits there. But it's good to catch up on news from the camp. This past week, they've been doing features every 3rd inning, bringing in people like Susan Slusser, Alex Coffey, Martin Gallegos. So good to hear from those guys and see what they've got, what scoops they've got from the A's camp. So yeah, definitely recommend listening to the A's radio feed, whether you're doing that via the A's Cast thing on TuneIn, if you're local in Oakland, or via MLB At-Bat. Good stuff. Okay, what have we got coming up? Well, after the two games today, the A's are back in split squad action again on Sunday. So there's another game in Vegas between the A's and Cleveland Indians. And then in Arizona, the A's have got the Kansas City Royals. And I think that's in Mesa. I may be wrong. No, today's game is in Mesa. I think tomorrow's game is in Hohokam, the A's ballpark. Go and check it. Check the schedule, Google it, that's what it's there for. Anyway, yes, because I'm excited for the game, I think I'll call it quits at this point and get ready to take down the green screen, take down everything else and get ready for the game starting at 9:05 UK time. One thing to say on top of that, a couple of things we've got coming up. So there is a new podcast called Podcast to be named later, PTBNL, which is the kind of offshoot of the MLB UK community, which is a community that arranges fan meetups during the course of the season. They're doing an AL West podcast. We're recording it tomorrow night, so I should be joining that tomorrow, putting across the A's point of view for our hopes for the coming season. So we'll tweet a link to that when it gets published, so keep an eye out for that. Our own A's UK podcast is going along quite nicely. We've done 3 episodes so far, so episode 4 will come out on Monday. In particular, I'll be looking at A's prospects because... Just lean down. Here we go. I've got my copy of Baseball America Prospect Handbook 2020. So I just got that yesterday. And the A's rankings in there, which are quite interesting. I bring it up. You're not going to be able to see this, are you? There we go. Maybe you will. That's Jesus Luzardo. down as our number one prospect according to Baseball America. So I'll have a look at this. Keith Law, who used to be doing great work at ESPN, who's joined The Athletic just earlier this year, he put out his top 100 prospects last Monday, I think it was, and put out his AL West prospect rankings yesterday on Friday. So he's covered the A's there. So I'll be looking at his thoughts on the A's farm system, looking at what Baseball America thinks of it. Also looking back at Melissa Lockhart on The Athletic, who's been covering A's minor leaguers for many a year, does a superb job. And so she put out some rankings going back, I think it was sort of in November time. So we'll compare the three, compare some other thoughts out there on A's prospects, and yeah, get a thought of what the A's kind of prospect looks like at the moment. Pretty obvious top three guys are Jesus Luzardo, AJ Puk, and Sean Murphy. But who else have we got? Who else have we got coming through? Who are guys who might be able to chip in a bit this season? And who are the more kind of higher upside guys who are a couple of years away, but could be future stars? So, yes, that will be part of the podcast published on Monday. It's available on Spotify, Apple, TuneIn, and other places that get podcasts. Fireways, I don't know. I just put it up and it goes all over the place. Clever, hey? So that comes out on a Monday, so keep an eye out for that. And of course, we're available as the doodles, the banners show you below. We're on YouTube, might be well watching us live or on demand on YouTube. We're on Facebook at Oakland AUK. We are on Twitter at Oakland AUK. You may be watching this via Twitter or Periscope. And we're also on, there we go, Instagram too, at Oakland AUK. So we're across the social media platforms. Do subscribe if you've not done already, particularly on the YouTube channel, because I'm not yet at 100 subscribers. And until we do that, I can't kind of add in some more stuff. You have to hit that mark before you get anywhere. I think we're on something like 82, 83 or something. So you can click the subscribe button on there and yeah, add up those stats would be nice. Anyway, if you're watching the game this evening, UK time, this afternoon, Oakland time, then we'll be tweeting along for the bit that I watch anyway, first few innings. So join in there. Hope you enjoy the game. If you're actually out there in Vegas, you wouldn't be watching this live stream, I would expect. But hope you have a great game. Looks a fantastic ballpark, as I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, real treat to go out there. Certainly a place which I would like to go and visit at some point one year, because great place to go to anyway, but to go and see a ball game, particularly A's AAA affiliate, would be great. So enjoy the game. If you're watching it, I'll tweet along as we go. Not sure when the next live stream is going to be. Probably next Saturday or Sunday, I suspect. But I'll let you know on Twitter. Again, we've got the next podcast coming out on Monday, and we'll also have our contribution to the PCBNL podcast, which is a UK MLB communities, and yeah, we'll tweet out when that goes live too. So, I'm Matt Smith. Thanks a lot for watching this live stream today. Enjoy the game coming up, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the weekend, whichever time of the weekend it is for you now, live, or when you're watching this not live, if you know what I mean. Anyway, on that note, good ending. On that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.